Blood platelets and their activation play a critical role in preventing excessive bleeding at sites of injury. However, platelet activation also triggers thrombotic events, causing heart attack and stroke, two of the leading causes of death and severe disability worldwide. But platelet functions extend far beyond this.
Platelets mean much more than thrombosis and haemostasis. For 100 years or even more, they have been recognized as central players in thrombosis and hemostasis, but the last 1.5 or 2 decades have shown additional roles of platelets in most different processes, such as inflammation, immune defense, but also cancer metastasis or related processes in development.
The Collaborative Research Center Transregio 240 Platelets is located at the University of Würzburg and the University of Tübingen. Associated are the University of Greifswald and the ISIS in Dortmund. In this consortium, basic scientists and clinicians with complementary expertise in cardiovascular diseases, basic, translational, and clinical platelet research are jointly investigating platelets from the single molecule to the whole organism in humans and experimental animal models in order to better understand diseases and develop new treatment strategies. Blood clotting is vital. After vascular injury, it starts immediately. Platelets adhere to sites of injury, become activated, and change their shape. They now attract further platelets, cross-link, and the white hemostatic plug quickly seals the injury. Fibrin fibers stabilize the clot. Haemostasis thus stops small bleedings within minutes, and wound healing can begin. But platelets have also another face. If uncontrolled thrombosis formation occurs, large aggregates can be formed, which lead to life-threatening vascular occlusions. And platelets play a leading role in this process. When the inner wall of a vessel is damaged, for example, by a ruptured arteriosclerotic plaque, this triggers platelet adhesion and blood clotting. A thrombus of platelets and fibrin is formed, which can completely occlude the blood vessel and eventually cause, for example, myocardial infarction. If such clots break off, they travel through the bloodstream until they get stuck and block a blood vessel, with fatal consequences, such as a stroke, and this starts a cascade.
Of course, the occlusion is a very important aspect. However, when platelets occlude the vessel, they secrete a plethora of inflammatory mediators. They then start to regenerate or to doing any harm to the ischemic tissue.
The entire view of inflammation has already begun to change, and it's clear that platelets and the coagulation system are major players in inflammation. So this is not separate processes, and inflammation and thrombotic activity are closely intertwined and, which we believe, mutually dependent. That is the idea of the new concept of thrombo-inflammation.
Exploring the fascinating world of platelet function shall finally lead to novel treatment concepts also beyond cardiovascular disorders. At the University of Würzburg, the expertise and infrastructure are available to perform state-of-the-art basic platelet research, not only about the role of platelets in cardiovascular diseases, but also about platelet biogenesis. Emerging questions in this context are: how are platelets produced? How is platelet production altered under disease conditions? And how does altered platelet biogenesis affect platelet function? Platelets are derived from bone marrow megakaryocytes, which are located at blood vessels and extend long cytoplasmic protrusions, known as proplatelets, from which they sequentially release platelets into the vasculature, up to 3,000 per megakaryocyte. Scientists at the CRC 240 have visualized this process in vivo. Videos like these are created at the Department of Molecular Microscopy at the University of Würzburg. Light sheet fluorescence microscopy visualizes large tissue specimen and the vasculature down to the subcellular detail in 3D, and thus helps to understand how platelets are generated and how they orchestrate essential body functions in health and disease. For example, during infarct development in acute ischemic stroke.
Usually, when you image a tissue, you have only a very small certain view, but the thing you're looking at happens in a huge context of tissue. So how do you know what you're looking at? You know what you're looking at the moment you understand the tissue context. And that's what our techniques provide. The tissue context is maintained.
A key element of TR240 platelet research are modern proteomics approaches performed at ISIS in Dortmund, which can reveal quantitative changes in the abundance of thousands of proteins, post-translational modifications, as well as protein-to-protein interactions. This is providing unprecedented insights into platelet physiology and related diseases. The infrastructure of TR240 opens up new scientific terrain. At the Department of Cardiology and Angiology at the University Hospital Tübingen, clinical scientists investigate the role of platelets in inflammatory processes in the heart following infarction, and how to find the perfect balance between coagulation and bleeding.
Our special research interest is to look for targets and for drugs that might target both thrombosis and inflammation, but that does not enhance the bleeding. So that's the critical question of the future.
The Department of Transfusion Medicine at the University Hospital Greifswald has distinct expertise in platelet-to-pathogen interactions, biomechanics, and platelet immunology. This complements the profile of the Transregio 240 Consortium. And this is the site where breakthrough findings on the COVID-19 pandemic were recently generated.
The acute problem of vaccine-induced thrombotic thrombocytopenia clearly shows the strengths of translational research in platelet research, the interaction of the partners with different strengths in the Transregio, bringing in bedside, basic science, and clinical expertise, and hereby being at the key front of further developments and figuring out pathomechanisms to make modern therapies potentially safer for the patients.
The technology and scientific skills are fundamental, but the decisive factor is the people who drive research forward. They make the difference. Experienced scientists pass their knowledge to young researchers, but also benefit from their ideas, creating a continuous mutual exchange. The TR240 offers the opportunity to develop at all academic career stages.
When I was in the US as a postdoctoral fellow, I was searching for the best place in Germany to perform my research on the topic megakaryocyte and platelets. And the CRC 240 provides an excellent infrastructure to perform the research I want to do and to pursue my academic career within Germany.
I feel comfortable with my research and also with the environment, so with all the friendly colleagues and all the collaborators within the CSC. So I'm really happy that I decided to do my PhD within this CSC 240.
Highly motivated CRC 240 researchers work closely together to reveal the secrets from the platelets and develop their clinical potential.
We've brought together expertises from all relevant disciplines, both on the clinician and basic science side. And this combination of scientists from different disciplines, experienced scientists, young scientists, and in an international team is, as we believe, the ground on which new ideas, innovative projects, and a new way of thinking are born.